What's going on, gamers? We got some interesting news here by Moore's Law is dead, obviously. And articles just popping up everywhere saying now the PlayStation 6 is not going to get delayed. It's like, what? Here's my thing. If it wasn't, and they're thinking about a little bit of a pushback, I think 2028 early would be more significant. I always said late 2028 would be a sweet spot with the way this generation has went to enjoy PS5 Pro more and the new PSSR 2 that just came out. Um, Now, saying that they're not going to delay the PS6, hardware leaker says 2027 still likely after Xbox Helix reveal. I don't know if the PS6 is coming out in 2027. Sony officially said that they wanted to extend the life cycle of PS5. They didn't officially say anything about this. This is interesting. And I think there's easily 2 years left of the PS5. I don't understand why this is now being a popular topic, and a lot of people are posting it. Now, the Xbox Helix, yeah, they can go ahead and do that because they're in that situation. And you got people saying dumb stuff too, talking about it's because the Xbox is coming. I was like, dude, nobody cares in the PlayStation world. So you're not a threat to them. There's no way Sony's plans has anything to do with Xbox. Now, they abandoned Steam too, and I think this has a lot to do with Sony wanting to push that exclusive identity to sell the PS6 more because you're getting into the position now to where you need a reason to make the PS6 more relevant than PS5 was and PS4. And it's going to be needed for more than power. And I think they're going to have a lot of innovation with that hardware and a lot of innovation when it comes to things that Sony does. Like, when they had SharePlay and different technologies like that, obviously helping developers. We saw stuff like putting stuff on the cloud and barely taking up any space on your hard drive. Like, it's going to have a lot of features that are going to make it attractive that are going to be beyond power. And it needs that. Now, as far as like, yeah, they're not going to delay the PS6, I'm going to have to hear that from Sony because I think it's going to be 2028 regardless. I don't know about no 2027. And one of the reasons they're saying this is because they say it will cost them more money to delay than to launch in their official window. I think there's a slight delay regardless, but maybe not a major one like another pushback after what they initially thought. I think 2028 just sounds very good. So we have a video to look at to talk about that. And then we have some comments down here. This guy says, I will take Bloomberg, who is more reliable than Moore's Law is dead, who has been wrong on numerous occasions. I have to agree on that. It's true, you know how hard it will be to buy one. Same stuff in 2020. I was lucky enough to pre-order one, but dude, that was a pandemic. That's why. And this guy says, well, Bloomberg has said otherwise, and so did Sony themselves. That's what I think, guys. I want you guys to let me know what you think. We're going to get to this video to see what he has to say and see what source he's getting this from, because it's like, you're not making any sense. No, you had all this broken Unreal Engine 5 nonsense. You had all those cancels and delays. You need to finish the generation strong. People weren't even able to get it like they wanted to at the beginning, but there was a catch-up now because they're already at 90 million. They're pretty much almost aligning with PS4, so the catch-up is there. Not the type of catch-up you think. You guys know what I'm talking about. But, yeah, it's the games that are the problem. Okay, so they're not going to delay PS6, hardware leaker says, and it's going to push 4K, 120 frames per second easily with ray tracing. I could believe that. In the aftermath, Project Helix announcement yesterday, which is Xbox's notorious hardware leaker Moore's Law is dead, has reiterated he believes the PS6 will launch in late 2027. There's been a lot of speculation recently suggesting Sony may push back the unannounced platform, potentially. I don't even say speculation. They said that they wanted to extend the cycle of PS5. They said that. Potentially into 2028 or beyond. Some of our readers felt the manufacturer should wait to as long as 2030. I don't know about that. I think 2028. Feeling that the PS5 hasn't reached its full potential yet. Rising RAM and storage prices have reportedly been cited as the reasoning behind the rumored delay. Well, Sony said they secured this year. They're going to have to think about 2027. Let us know. But Moore's Law is dead, who has claims to have seen various manufacturing documents, believes it will cost the company more to pull its contracts with manufacturers like TSMC. Interesting. In the past, the Snoop has stated he's seen evidence of the PS6 being ready for manufacture in Q2 2027, and he repeats the information in the latest video. There's no way that's happening. I can promise you that. It's going to be, at the earliest, I would say late 2027, but I don't believe that. I think it's 2028. He does propose a delay into early 2028. Could be possible, as that would allow it to build up inventory and honors its existing contracts. But he doesn't believe it'll launch much later than that. In this video right here, I got to the clip section so that we could see it. Are we ready?
Boy who refuses to game on PC, you'll probably clown on this a lot when they announce it's $1,000 to $1,500. But again, then this really isn't for you. And shut up.
Yeah, the Magnus will be somewhere around that 100%.
Like that's what it is. This is Xbox moving away from console and giving their fans a consolation prize. And I do hope they do a good job with that. I think everyone should, for competition's sake, right? I mean, come on, everybody. All right, so that is Xbox Project Helix. Now, I have a couple PS6 segments I want to get to. But first, let me just very briefly remind everybody what we're dealing with here with the PS6. And by the way, there's almost 1,000 people watching. Like the video. Let's get to 1,000 likes. What are we doing? What are we doing, everybody? Come on. Show support. Show support. But anyways, yes, here's the PlayStation 6 thumbnail. Again, this is one of the videos I put the most effort into. I literally have renders of I know the die size exactly of it, and so I did renders of it to try to convey the product. I had to pay someone to do that, by the way. This was a lot of work. So if you haven't seen this video, please check it out. But as you can see, this is not the same thing as Xbox Magnus. It will probably be in the same ballpark-ish in experience, which is all Sony's going to try to do to compete at a lower price. But, it tells you a lot, right? 280 millimeter squared. It's actually, I believe, exactly the same die size of the existing 6-nanometer PS5, isn't it? So there's clearly something interesting going on where they want this die size. I almost wonder if there's going to be a reuse of some stuff they did before. I don't know. But I think that can't be a coincidence. But look, 280 millimeters squared, not 408 millimeters squared. So again,
they don't need that.
I talk to the Xbox.
Still going to sell a ton
on PlayStation. This is going to cost a lot more, though. So there's
and the funny thing is that once you get to that point, everything's going to start looking good. Who cares once you're getting native 4K 60 ray tracing with everything, or close to 120 frames 4K ray tracing? At that point, nobody's going to care. They're all going to be able to do path tracing. It's not going to matter.
A reason the PlayStation's weaker. Okay.
Yeah.
54 compute units is last I saw. Who knows if I will say the document that showed the compute unit. Oh no, wait, I think that was up to date because the source did get me the latest when I put that leak out. So I believe that's probably still correct. But then, this is not meant to run 240 hertz. It's got 8 Zen 6C cores. If I were to guess what these will be clocked at, it'd be between 4 and 5 gigahertz, and then 2 Zen 6 low power cores for the operating system and blah, blah, blah. So the current PS5 actually does pull some CPU performance away from its 8 Zen 2 cores to run the operating system. And in one document, it said adding 2 1 watt low power cores boosted CPU performance by 20%. Now, see, that's interesting to me because so far I have not seen that Magnus has low power cores. So you have to wonder, though. Yes, it's cool they're giving you Zen 6, 3-nanometer Zen 6, but still Zen 6, and perhaps that will hit at least 5.5, probably 6 gigahertz. But if this were to be 5 gigahertz, but a 20% boost from that, I don't know. You could see games where there might not be that big of a difference, but I don't know. I think the Xbox's main cores will probably be clocked so much faster that, it'll be a little weaker. But here's the thing. I mean, especially just having tried out Resident Evil 9 on the PlayStation 5 Pro, which, by the way, phenomenal game. No matter what platform you're on, even Switch 2 apparently runs it well. Get our Resident Evil 9. I think it might be the best Resident Evil. It's a perfect marriage of the best parts of Resident Evil 7 and Resident Evil 8 and 4. They pulled it off. It's just amazing. But anyways, the point here being, I'm playing Resident Evil 9. I actually played in the ray tracing mode at 60 frames, and I think it's great. It looks beautiful. But there's a 120 hertz mode that, generally speaking, is around 100, but sometimes drops to 90. Look, guys, this here, what you're looking at, 10 Zen 6 versus 8 Zen 2. I mean, let me do the math on that. What is that? Zen 3 was 30% faster at gaming. Zen 4 was pretty much another 30% faster at gaming than Zen 3 because of how high.
Jumping 2 gens now, though.
And then Zen 5, not a whole lot. I'll give it barely nothing. But Zen 6 should have, you're looking at gaming performance per core at the same clocks, doubling of performance. And then this will probably also be clocked 10, 20, 30% faster than the cores in the PS6. So you're looking at something that's probably going to be 3 to 4 times more CPU performance. And already Zen 2 can still almost do 120 hertz right now. It's more like a 60 to 90 hertz, but some games can pull it off. Sony is building this console for TVs, and they will be 120 hertz is the standard for a very long time. And many people don't even have above 60. So is Xbox Magnus's CPU stronger? Yes, it
Yeah.
definitely is in the PS6. But I don't think it is in an appreciable way that really matters for their targets, because this is targeting 4K 120 TVs. And this will be enough to saturate that to hit that frame rate. So
Yeah, at that point, it's not going to matter. You're going to have so much.
that's that.
More than
Now,
ever.
if we go to like the full specs here and compare the graphics, I have a thing here that showed they were targeting, and I think they will probably get close to 3 gigahertz. So that gets you close to like 40 teraflops or something. That's 4 times the teraflops of the PS5. I mean, come on, guys. This thing's at least 3 times. I mean, this is going to crush raster. I mean, again, go look at how RE9 looks, and then remember that it will be on PS6 like 3 times the raster and up to maybe even 12 times the ray tracing. I mean, and again, I think its ray tracing will probably be fairly close to Xbox Magnus, depending on clocks. So that's why I say the ballpark of 5090. Who knows? Maybe Xbox Magnus is faster than the 5090 in ray tracing, and this is around the same as it. But these are all just estimates here. And I think that's enough. I think when you look at what they accomplished with a 4K 60 ray traced RE9 on a PS5 Pro, this will be probably 3 to 6 times faster ray tracing than the PS5 Pro. Probably around double the raster. A PSSR 3 will be available. I think they will fully saturate 4K 120 ray tracing. But again, this will be used on TVs. Xbox will be used on other things. So Xbox needs that extra performance to justify itself as a hybrid PC device, I believe. Or at least that's what Microsoft thinks, and I agree with them. And so, yeah, that's this. I mean, I don't have that much else and I will say this too. Depending on how much like AI is used for like smarter NPCs or generating content while you're playing a game, I do think this is worth pointing out. Guys, the PS6 might be like 500 times faster than the PS5 and that type of thing. So when people look at so many people, when I put out the PlayStation 6 leaks, hyperventilated over raster, and guys, you're fighting the last war. This is like if people were arguing on the PS5 about teraflops, when teraflops was the last war with the PS4. What it was with the PS5 is like a 1,000 times faster, 100 times faster storage, I/O controllers that help, just a more modern architecture. The PS4 couldn't even do ray tracing in the first place. That was the real differentiator there. Yes, it had a lot more teraflops, but really like PS4, Xbox One, and Xbox One X to Xbox Series X and PS5, if you were arguing about teraflops, you were out to lunch. And that turned out to be correct, because the PS5 and Series X performed about the same, despite there being a big teraflops difference. That was the last war. The current gen war with PS5 and Series X was about how fast is your storage and how optimized is your architecture to run modern games. That's the current war.
Yeah, and Sony has Linux and they have Windows.
The next war will be ray tracing and AI performance.
Yeah.
And they will have better raster, a lot better raster than the current PS5 Pro. But it's enough to get to 4K 120 and then just crank ray tracing up, AI up. So I just think it's so stupid, in my opinion, when I keep seeing like people talk about raster. It just reminds me of people who keep forgetting like that's the current war, not the next gen war. You want to talk about the real difference between next gen consoles? Let's talk about the fact that Xbox Magnus, especially if it uses GPU and NPU, it's like 1,000 times faster than the Series X at doing AI stuff, or at least hundreds of times, I think. Let's talk about the fact that in ray tracing, it will beat the Series X by probably, like 10 to 20 times? That's like a PS3 to PS4 upgrade right there in the specs that matter. Don't fight the last war. So I want to say that.
True.
Speaking of last wars, though, they're bringing back handhelds. Now, I'm not going to dwell on this much because I don't think it's worth discussing. Like we've already seen with the modest specs of the Switch 2 that it can outperform the Series S. The point is, this is going to be comfortably like 3, 4, 5 times faster than the Switch 2 or something. And that...
Well, yeah, that matters. But that's pretty much what he wanted to share on his updates about the PS6 guys. And basically letting you know that if there's going to be a delay, he thinks it's early 2028. And that PSSR 3 will be available for the PS6. Pretty much. So, I mean, you got people down here thinking that they must be pretty freaked out about the PS5 being jailbroken. They just barely have PS5 players than they do PS5. really have more PS5 players than they do PS5 players, whatever the hell that's supposed to mean. I'll take one whenever it releases. Yeah, I'll give one, but I'm thinking 2028 is the earliest. Now, when it comes to specifications, I've told people this before, that it's not going to matter because at this point, everything's going to look so damn good. It doesn't matter. It's about the price value proposition that PlayStation's going to have. It's going to be much cheaper and it's going to sell a lot more, and it has exclusives, and you're not getting the exclusives now. And you know you can trust into that ecosystem. That's the difference here now. It used to be where you think Magnus was going to be getting the PlayStation 6 games. No, it's gone now. You used to think where you want to compare the specs, you still will. We'll still be doing comparisons. But I'm telling you, when you get that improvement, and once you get your hands on those type of specifications, which how much of the PC community even has that right now? Very, very, very low percentage. Once you get that, who cares anymore? And if Sony's going to be that much cheaper and you're getting that type of performance, it's going to just blow it out the water in sales. It's not going to be a comparison. This will be the least compared in hardware sales historically because they're not going to be able to compete. They're going to be in the Steam machine, Steam Deck situation, the Magnus. So I want you guys to let me know what you think about this. We got a more inside intel look at specs, but as far as like things getting delayed, I would prefer to hear from Sony themselves because they said they want to extend the life cycle. I'm thinking late 2028. Later, y'all. Peace out. Keep gaming no matter what platform you're on. Trust me, at this point, the hardware, all of them, is going to be insane. Definitely when it comes to ray tracing and path tracing. And that is the next thing to make the biggest jump. Because rasterization has hit a wall a long time ago, ever since AI got the huge focus. Later.